night, I know there was, we were talking a little ad hoc about who should these questions go to? Are they research, demo, or platform questions? Um, I know some of us have talked offline. We've had some thoughts. Michael has some thoughts on it. Um, Hopefully, it's a quick conversation because then we can start actually getting into the questions, which are now more complicated than they were a couple hours ago.
I think they're the same questions. Actually, they're just more instructions.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, the public ones are easier.
Is there a word limit for this?
Quick question, did we post this link general?
This one?
Earlier
It's okay.
this afternoon.
I'll do it, babe.
Yeah, but it was posted in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have two questions about it. First is how much content we need to add, and then second is, can we add any media? Because if we can add a video, let's say 7 of us from different continents talking about how we are building it, I think that would be very, very effective.
I think we can
anything else.
add a link, right? I totally agree. I actually really want to do. I really want to. I've wanted to make such a video where it's just like, hi, I'm X from, whatever. Hi, I'm Dilruchi from Sri Lanka, and hi, I'm, I'm, I think that would be really cool.
We've seen your video skills too, because you should definitely be an actor in that.
For me.
The demo rap.
The demo rap.
Oh God.
We'll redo Macklemore's Downtown to demo.
Oh, we actually have GIF from Michael.
Just flow in. Oh.
Look, you're about to prompt a lot of whinging. That's all that I can.
You're gonna be up all night whinging.
So yeah, I think we could do that, absolutely. I think we can add more media. We can also just post it to YouTube and add it as a link. Our constraint is that it's like got to be done by mid-Monday or something, right? It's like 5 p.m. probably.
We can write whist paper and Kai paper. We can do anything.
This is
Come on, we can crowdsource this. Come on.
That has increased my confidence so much that I don't feel anything impossible.
I was actually meeting with Krzysztof Gajos earlier today. He's a Harvard faculty member in computer science, has done a fair amount of crowdsourcing stuff, Lab in the Wild. I was telling him about Boomerang, and he was like, oh, cool, like he was into it. Like occasionally when you explain the idea to someone, they're like, yeah, I got one of those. So, good job, everyone. So, yeah.
some sophisticated things are happening. I mean, I just went on the night site a couple days ago, and the other folks, they're going all out with the multimedia, the bells and the whistles. So I don't know if that is the right way to go, but that's what other folks are doing right now. So,
I mean, when you have 200K at stake, it's probably worth it, I guess.
We can do that.
But
so Monday midnight PST?
No, it's before that. It's Monday 5, I think, EST? But let me look.
I think we have most of the content already in the papers, in the wiki. We have results. We have system. The media part.
Yeah, 5 p.m. Monday. But she didn't get a time zone. So you could do like 5 p.m. Hawaii time. But yeah, I'm assuming 5 p.m. I feel like what we should probably try to do is like finish it by like the end of the weekend or even Monday morning. Like if I look at on Monday, I'm on a plane to give a talk at Carnegie Mellon. So like, I think we should just be done before then.
How about this? We plan to finish up the write-up by tomorrow. So we have write-up done, at least a first draft.
Yeah.
And we discuss like if we go by media, what kind of media we should add. Then I can write a small script or something. or anybody else has a better idea can
Yeah,
go
does
ahead
anyone
and write
have
scripts.
experience with making videos? Pointing at me.
Videos, yeah, we can make it.
I've also seen videos made on like Google Hangouts itself. Like,
Yeah, something like
Yeah, I
that.
think we need to edit it though.
so so on Hangouts there are those captions thing, right? Like you can bring up those captions for everybody with their names and like places they're from, and then when that face shows up as the highlighted version, you can the person will know like who these are and like where do they belong from. Um, so it becomes part of the entire video itself, so it can be fast and easy, if at all. And like we can time it appropriately that someone can drop in and someone can join in. So like we have like multiple people, something like that, more than 10 people.
Wait, Rajan, reminder. Sorry,
Hello, hello,
yeah. So
hello.
there are public and private questions.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I see. So there's actually like 11 questions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the private questions, here is where I was a little confused when it says, how does initiative fit into your organization's priorities and all those things. So we project demo as an organization, like we all people, or how do we tackle that?
I think what we would do is I think we pitch ourselves as the crowd research collective, and we say that like we came together, all 500 or whatever of us, to
Hello?
I think Michael dropped out.
Yeah. Yeah. Night challenge. So out of 45, how many other entries you guys think will be a strong competition for us?
I did not check all, but I know that the other data science professor who was working with us in this initiative, like his proposal is also in. They have a different proposal though,
Oh, okay.
but they're also in the 45.
He wanted some work done on demo platform, right?
Yes, yes.
So, oh, we are live. I would have said it.
Sorry?
We are live. Otherwise, I would have said it. You know where I'm going.
You should go hop on the site. There are some interesting submittals.
Yeah.
There's, I'm curious how we're going to spin the data, the whole data approach. It seems almost like we're on the fringes of this, where others are actually collecting data and using it.
So I think we can bring up some stats about how data is being used in crowdsourcing industries, like for generation or for cleaning up. There are so many companies which are just where people are just working on cleaning up or tagging or making more sense out of the data through crowdsourcing approaches.
I mean, are we missing? I mean, isn't there another point here as well? I mean, as we're an iteration, we're prototyping, we're moving the needle. We haven't reached a solution yet, but if we're looking at as the challenge is data, not only are we're helping people within the crowd as well with tools. I mean, we're looking to create mechanisms where there's equal access to data. So within the crowd itself, it's not just skewed to the worker. Opening up avenues for work around the world, to be able to leverage this style of work.
Yeah, I think we can, in a couple sentences, like right at the very beginning of that first question, just be like, crowdsourcing is how data happens today, and like just sort of go there and say, but it has all these problems, and that's what we're solving. Like we're building a better data ecosystem by building a better crowdsourcing platform.
Yeah.
How might we
Do
make
we?
data work for individual and communities? Right, that's the question they're asking.
Say that again.
So the question they're asking is, data work for individuals and communities. So from community perspective, we can say, like as you mentioned, the core problem crowdsourcing, that AI problem where computers are not as intelligent as humans in terms of vision perspective, that allows us to fulfill need of organization. But can we use same data to create employment across the globe and maybe change the perspective or lives of people using the same data that can help organization? That same data can also help generate these employments across the globe. And that's where maybe we can talk about reaching to people who otherwise will not have access to some of the work. And we can give cases like, oh, Mechanical Turk, most of the workers, either they're from physical disability or they cannot leave their home for certain reasons. They now have opportunity to sit at their home and participate in the marketplace, get fair wages, and earn like earn the money to fulfill their daily needs or fulfill their households or something.
I think that is one of the that is one of the problems we are that is sort if we are pitching, that is the supplementary things which we are solving. But I think the primary thing I was thinking was that there's a lot of growth in the data, and there's a lot of research and growth in crowdsourcing approaches. So we can sort of like throw in some statistics, because I've seen somewhere, I have to find, which was like it has grown by 3-folds or 4-folds in past year or something like that. This field of like just crowdsourcing, not even data. And crowdsourcing is trying to solve. It's trying to. It's sort of a platform for obtaining and cleaning the data, which eventually becomes useful or helps make more sense out of, like so many complex environment and those kind of things. And then to support this, there have been many initiatives, and there are many startups and companies and organizations working towards this, but they have like these kind of problems, and we are like trying to get to the root of it by not just superficially cleaning up the data, but actually going into the root and trying to identify like what eventually causes these problems, which is again like trust and power, the core foundations which we have been working on. And that is like how we are trying to do. And in this process, like we're also we can also pitch in this aspect that online labor is a huge industry in today's world, where like a lot of people come and do their jobs, and so we can help them on those lines. So there are multiple angles to pitch this, but if we try to take the data as a core, this might be one of the directions.
I think if they want to think very narrowly about data, then I don't think we're really going to win. But I don't think they're going to. They're thinking narrowly about data.
Yeah.
They're thinking very broadly about what data is, what it means, how it's produced, how it's interpreted. But like, I don't think we need to go. We don't need to spend a lot of time being defensive about how we're data. I think we can just start by saying, like, look, crowdsourcing is a major part of the data ecosystem, and it has massive implications for like human jobs and security and welfare. And those promises are currently being like way under-delivered. There we go, and just move. I think if we get too deep into it, it's just gonna like it'll sound like we're being defensive.
I think we have a story. So if you can see my screen, right? Like this is the central question, and this line, like this is open call for ideas using data to inform and empower people, which we are doing, right? People are underrepresented. People have issues. Society has issues with like current existing platforms, and we are making a platform that will give everybody an equal opportunity to make decisions about their lives, their communities, and democracy, right?
I think this question is. Sorry.
I think we should pitch in like data comes from two sources, like either it is machines or human beings. So we are solving one part of the story where we are pitching in, like human beings will be at the behest of it, and machines part like that is already another revolution which is happening by like IoT. So we should be pitching in like that we are completing one part of it, and like human beings, and also like we have expertise as a HCI group. So we connect humans and machines together, understand this ecosystem much better than other people.
Okay,
I think,
let's do
Neil, just
a
to go
quick
back to the way the
elevator
question
chart.
is written, can you bring that up?
I can share it. Yeah, give me a second. I think I closed it, but
Because one of the things that I think also is significant is, like Michael said, obviously, crowdsourcing is very important in the collection of data. We're having a significant impact on improving, the quality of the data that's acquired and therefore the cleaning of it. But I think what's interesting in reading the further parts of the question is one of the things that we also have that's on a smaller scale as far as level of importance, but I still think is impactful, is this idea that everyone within the ecosystem has a say in what's happening and the way that it's happening. Talk about the way data is collected and determine how I think is significant. I mean, it asks about data in response to democracy. In this situation, the actual data isn't just what's happening at that point of transaction, but people are participating in it on many levels. And I think that it's not just the breadth of the data that we're talking about, but the depth of access, not only to your own data, but to participate in this greater data collection. So I think that what's interesting for me from a data perspective and looking at it is just how pervasive in our platform that is and how many different things it touches upon.
So I have a procedure suggestion. I feel like I'm hearing many similar opinions here. So just to see if I can nudge us towards a next step, I wonder if we could spend sort of 2 to 3 minutes per question, just sort of spitballing a general space of the answer, so that we can sort of see if we're aligned and maybe give ourselves an outline we can write from. What say you?
that sounds good.
Cool. So I will DRI this just to keep us on task. The first question is, how has it defined the problem that it's trying to solve? I interpret that to mean like how did it get to it, but instead like what is implicitly I think they're asking what does success mean? Like, how do you know if you've won? What is the problem? And thus how can you measure if you've succeeded?
So the way I will go about it is not from crowd computing or human computation or technical perspective. I would go it by future of work and then come to the story of human computation and then touch the data part, because so if I explain this to my grandmother, she doesn't care like which machine learning algorithms I'm improving with the data. But if I tell her like, hey, we are creating a marketplace where people who never had opportunity to go and work, they can go and get access to the work, that is much more compelling. And then we can delve into technical idea.
Yeah. I mean, if we're not going to address data head on, let's play to our.
Because if you think about the audience which we are pitching this to, how many of those will be crowdsourcing experts, right?
But how many of them are going to be impressed by the scope of our influence? I think like what Gil said, we've got not just network ecosystem, could be conceivably anyone in the world that has computer access. They can conceivably be contributing to the health and welfare of this ecosystem called the globe. it gets a little schmaltzy, but
Yeah.
you could have that reach.
So here's what I'm going to propose. I'm putting some bullet points of like a bullet outline answer. So it's sort of like crowdsourcing is today like a major source of data, like industry, research, society, etc. Tomorrow, future of work vision, basically, it's going to generalize into things like connect the dots between, Mechanical Turk and Uber. It's sort of like the digitization of work, and that's going to be, very data driven. And then we step on to another paragraph. Transition to future of work.
When you say source of data, are we, and if we are thinking about the crowd platforms, crowd workers on platforms, are they actually producing data, or they're like mostly like cleaning up or like adding additional content about existing data?
We produce a lot of data too. I mean, I don't want to get too deep into semantics. I think we get basically one sentence here. The point is just that crowdsourcing, is an inherent part of data work now.
Sure.
I think to answer Rajan's question, though, I think even if you looked at just the amount of academic survey research that gets done in crowdsourcing is significant and is obviously significant. So, data is definitely being created. Not that we'd necessarily address it, but I think it's not just, I don't know.
So, I'm trying to sort of brainstorm some points for that second paragraph. I think we want to keep these pretty short, by the way, like 2 to 3 paragraphs at most. I can't quite tell how much they want, but like I'm generally of the opinion that saying less but being very compelling about it is better.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like paragraph 1 just basically says like crowdsourcing and data are like one and one. It's going to become even more important. Then paragraph 2 basically sets up the core problem. And the specific problem is that like workers and requesters are not represented, not treated well.
We're bringing balance to the force.
Sorry?
Working off my stormtrooper philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Our attempt.
Cool for me, man. I don't understand all your references to whining and whittling or whatever it was.
Oh, balance to the force. Star Wars. Is that we're looking to, our challenge is to return a certain level of symmetry to the worker-requester relationship. It's almost like this is the very beginning of the Industrial Revolution, but this is the digital revolution. You still have those asymmetrical worker relationships. If we can tackle some, or maybe cast it within, maybe a historical paradigm, it gives people, I think, as Al or someone mentioned, there's not going to be a lot of crowdsourcing specialists here, but there's going to be people that can identify with some of the worker, the requester worker challenges that we're addressing to improve not just the efficiency but the plight of others.
Mm-hmm.
If we put that into certain historical context, maybe we're fudging a little bit, but it still resonates with people, and that we're looking to help improve the human condition. And a lot of the other examples I saw, they're doing it on a smaller scale. Let's play to our strength. We can conceivably help the entire world, whereas others are dealing about community action and crime in a certain space. We've got scope.
That's the exact point. We have that point, and that is like we are touching future of work, where the way work is getting done will change from 5 years from now. The way taxis were 5 years, that it changed due to Uber, and this is going to change the traditional workplace model, right? So maybe personally I feel if I have to explain in 3-4 words what our project is, we are actually like Google democratized information. We are going to democratize the workplace. That's what I feel.
pretty hefty, but it's a bold statement. But at the end of the day, if we do this right, yeah, that could very much be the outcome.
And I see that in 5, 10 years, it's gonna change, right? Like, for example, like a lot of offices, IBM office from home.
Okay.
5 years from now, technology will be different.
Here, I'm going to suggest that we move on for now, because I think by talking through several of these, we'll figure out our angle more clearly. So for example, they say, how has it defined the problem it's trying to solve? And then question 2 is, what is the challenge being addressed? Which is very confusing, because that sounds like the same question to me. And then it says, what is the proposed approach? What evidence is there that this approach will work?
Yeah, 3 questions.
So I think if we're thinking about, like, I always, with grant stuff, I always want to think about what's our strength, as you pointed out. So I think our strength in some sense is the approach. Like, first of all, that we have hundreds of people, including workers, including requesters, including developers, all this, and we have a process that we've been following pretty successfully for the last few months. So I would suggest that when we talk about the approach, is like crowd research, that we have like.
Yeah, but that to solve which problem?
Yeah, so I feel that this question is mostly asking about the like the output. For example, Dymo. So now how Dymo is trying to solve this problem. So the approach to solve Dymo might be the answer for this, not like how we're building Dymo to solve. So it's like a double tier.
I agree, but there are no other questions where it's as good a fit to talk about this. So I suggest that we like weave it in, because I think it's going to be points in our favor. Yeah. It's like we're not random people talking about building this thing. Like we are a force to be reckoned with.
So the question 3 is like, how does this initiative fit into your organization, and like who are the partners and those kind of things? Maybe that is when we can bring this up in more detail.
Okay, sure, I'd be fine with that too. So just our answer here is basically describe crowd research.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I think with 2, we have to make a decision about our approach. We can either be, I think we can't stop by just saying trust, especially because as Trygve and Allison have spent a lot of time wrestling with, it's not easily quantifiable or described. Like grant people want to know whether you can declare success, and we can't just be like, hey, trust is up by 0.5%. So I think we have to decide, to what extent do we say we're building a crowdsourcing platform, and to what extent do we say things like, we talk about Boomerang, do we talk about prototype tasks?
I would
OpenCode.
Just glance through them like in 2 to 3 sentences, because like as far as I'm understanding the audience we will be pitching at, not necessarily all of them are going to be experts in this area. Like think about it, right? While writing Sky paper, we debated whether we should use the word incentive compatible mechanism to a computer science audience, thinking like they might not have the background in economics. So our story will be much more powerful, where we can kind of like say, oh, we can generate the data that empowers the members in community. Like this Boomerang system, it gives opportunity to people to generate the data in a way that everybody has equal say and whatnot. So story around that, like empowerment, use of data, will be much more compelling rather than the mechanisms. Because I think as I read these questions, they are more operational questions rather than actually engineering kind of questions.
Yeah. I think what we want to do is convince them that we have some. Yeah, I think you're right. It's an operational question. but like I'm not entirely sure. No one can give a compelling answer to an operational question. You're sort of like, we will meet weekly. We will. So I
So,
mean,
for example, number 4, right? What are the key project activities? So we can say, first, we identified 4 core foundation that can make these crowdsourcing marketplaces much more democratic. And we can talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, all of our 4 foundations. And in reputation, then we can say, oh, we designed this boomerang reputation system that gives opportunity to people, not just one side, but all the members in the community to use this rating as voting mechanism, right? Like in democracy, you can vote and you can decide whom to elect and not. Here, Boomerang gives the ability to vote on good people and throw out the bad people out. So somewhere that connection we can make, which is much more appealing to these people.
Yeah,
So,
the collaborative component, the community component is that
we need human element like HCI. Here our C will be smaller and H will be bigger.
yeah.
okay.
so I have I wrote a short answer to this, which was mostly that current platforms basically trying to show that yes, crowdsourcing is trying to solve this huge problem of like data. It is producing a lot of data, but then there are people like responsible for cleaning and obtaining it. And the current state of world is that cloud platforms are not treating them well, nor they're making it easy for companies to like publish or like follow best practices. And so,
What are you speaking about? Which one are you saying?
sorry.
Which question are you pitching this as an answer to?
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the second one. Have you moved on?
We jumped around for a sec because Neil was talking about.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm still on question second, and then trying because this question has this important word I feel, which is like, what is the overall challenge being addressed? And so I felt like maybe we can say that we're, as part of the overall challenge, we are trying to solve the very core of this whole ecosystem problem, and then we are trying to solve this problem via our like 4 pillars, and then like we might they're also asking for the evidence, and I don't know like how deep we might want to get, but like we have recently submitted a paper with like a lot of evidence of like some of these functionalities working.
I mean, I think we also have evidence that's more about like the social likelihood of this working. So like we have support from workers on mechanical turk.
Yeah.
And elsewhere, like
Right.
Like
Right.
we have zeitgeist. We have not zeitgeist. We have
Right. Yeah, I was trying to save that for later questions where like what have you planned already, or like what is your chances of success? So like trying to tell that, hey, like we are already working with people on Turk Opticon as workers. We are already working with people as requesters with like, for example, Vision Group or like Microsoft. And
you can also cite our papers, the WIST paper.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me keep us moving for a minute. Organizational priorities for the upcoming years. I think we do, as you say, number 3, sort of describe crowd research and how we brought together. Maybe we can talk about, end goal is if we hit, what did we say, 100 tasks per week, we'll create something like a formal organization.
As an organization, we are pitching ourselves as DIMO organization or HCI group.
I think we pitch ourselves as like the crowd research collective building DAMO.
Okay, perfect.
And that we have given ourselves a goal of hitting 100 tasks done on the platform a week.
Yeah.
As a trigger to create a formal organization, might be a social enterprise.
Yeah, I like that.
So one thing we have to also be careful answering this question is not just getting into semifinal, but answering this question will also determine amount of money we're gonna get. Because this looks like to me somebody who is sitting there, executive, making decisions about, okay,
Is
we're
it
gonna make.
flexible?
I think so. I think it says around 200 to.
Yeah, it's
It's some 200K or something too. Like there is some range, I
it says
guess.
200 to 500K.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want 500 because that would be amazing. Everybody's a crowd already.
Because as we go like operational details, that's what like this sounds like. Okay, what are the key activities? What is the estimated timeline? What are the critical issues? So we can say, oh, we want to build the platform, which is super cool, when we need more people to build it. Or we need more people to sell it, or whatever. So our key project activities are kind of, they will span around all those areas. Trigve, what do you think? You might have much more details on it.
I like where you're going. I think as a first pass, the operationalization of Demo, because I think the platform is if we start to continue from I think the first premise we drew up, that if we're going to have impact on the lives of people around the world, it's the vehicle we're going to use to be able to reach them. Demo to this global marketplace where workers and requesters can meet. And so right now it's a great idea, and we would need to scale out Demo to accommodate that. But then we would need to apply a lot of resources to the building of the platform, increase or continue to focus on Boomerang, improve that, et cetera, et cetera. So if that's the way you're thinking, Neil, I think that's, Demo is one of the pieces of this puzzle. We need to build a platform that is built in the spirit of trust and power, that is built in the spirit of empathy, that's built in the spirit of all these other things we're talking about, whereas other platforms aren't. They're merely tools and conduits of quote-unquote demand.
So one thing to keep in mind is that any funder is going to want to. High concept is great, but they're going to want to see a very concrete path. Like these are all like, what is your very concrete path to success here? So I think we will pitch the vision, but we also need to make sure that we say like we're going to start by like getting kinds of tasks on the platform and workers from here, and here's like you have to believe us that this is going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, we don't want to be like emotionally pumped up, because sometimes.
I have a suggestion. I think the later questions here, 4, 5, and 6, I think we can generate answers to them. I'd like to pop to the public questions for a minute, because they ask. Who are the people who will directly benefit from your project, and what have you learned from them so far? I think we can play up the worker side as well as the requester side.
Yeah.
The worker case is easy to make. I think the requester one's a little bit more subtle, but the point is that both sides are sort of hurt.
Right.
With the second one, obstacles, I think, Rajan, I would not focus on like our community problems, like attrition or whatever. I would instead focus on the obstacles to the success of Demo.
Yeah, so I had that first, like getting work and workers, because like Anand Kulkarni, he was mostly pitching on like the biggest hurdle is getting work.
Yeah.
So.
But I would even mention that here.
Okay.
You mentioned that Anand Kulkarni at MobileWorks talked with us about this, and give a link to the YouTube conversation. Like, right. We have all this recorded, right? We might as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I agree. And with number 2, the thing we want to talk about is that it's hard to bootstrap a two-sided marketplace.
Right. And we have a plan, sort of, to like get initial set of like workers and initial set of, because we are like sort of collaborating with Turk Opticon, and we are sort of collaborating with people with research or academic field.
A suggestion, one thing I really want to do at Stanford, but that we can also pitch here, is that we would use a small part of the grant to offer, say, academics or something like that, price matching on the platform, like, to basically help bootstrap it by saying, like, if you're going to do a research study or an academic
on
study,
our platform, yeah,
we will pay for half of it. So, like, we set aside, I don't know, like $40K or something like that, until it turns out.
There's a startup based out of University of Oxford, right? Which
Yeah, they already started it. Yeah.
The Prolific Academic.
Yeah. Keep forgetting their name.
But they're only interested in academic stuff. We're
right.
broader. We're just trying to incentivize through academics.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How much do you think it will cost? That's a really. This is usually, they'll never give you more than you ask for. So, like, I don't know if we can just be like give us $1 million, but like.
We can generate the financial statement.
My suggestion is that you leave that one to me for now, because I can talk about how much it would cost to like do this thing within Stanford.
Right. These are very standard questions in business plans also.
And that's where I see, like, it's gonna be more towards this award will be given based on the way we specify the needs. So first thing is like idea. How important is idea? We have to sell it like, if you don't do this, world will end tomorrow, right? And that's the first goal. But the second goal is like, okay, to stop that from happening, tell us what do you need. And then we have to put our story around it so that we maximize the payoff.
I agree. So then, how we spread the word? I think we have an awesome answer there built in, where we're like, we already are, a lot of people, so we're going to capitalize on that. We have collaborators within Turker Nation and all these kinds of things.
Right.
My suggestion for number 5, Rajan, would be that at least in the short term, you actually write that the organization that would receive it would be Stanford.
Yeah. So like I added you as the prime.
Yeah. Right now it looks like an individual though. Like they're not giving me money.
Yeah.
I can give my bank account.
Yeah. That's gonna cause some
tax issue.
Whizzing?
Nope.
No, that's not the word.
What was that? No whinging?
Whinging.
Oh, that's gonna catch.
Yeah.
Okay.
During why I see half of you?
I don't know.
There we go.
One other thing which I just saw that was that all these ideas are also getting comments and likes. There are hearts made, and so I was wondering if we can share this link within our friends or like some circle who can also, I don't know, like ask questions and to show that we also gain some social traction within Knight's challenge community.
That's a good idea. I think.
The number one is Michael. You might not remember, but when we ran the Twitch project, someone from Samsung won that tablet, right? So that person is now running this startup, which is number 1 here in the social thing. Evan Wellsberg, Evans.
So
I ran one in this summer.
So
one of my friends.
I think we're gonna need. So I totally agree with you, Rajan. I think it's a great idea to like sort of put this in Facebook or Twitter or whatever. is unfortunately not something that I can do right now, because within my social network might be our Kai reviewers,
Right.
Okay.
and we have to stay sort of anonymous to that, or at least we have to not be obviously trolling the anonymity. So I think everyone else can, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And
Can I
everyone else should.
do that?
You're also you're friends with too many people who are probably on the committee, so I don't recommend it.
Can we do that, like people who are author on the paper?
Who are what?
People who are authors on the paper, can they do it?
Yeah, I think anyone who's not like tightly integrated with the Kai community yet would be good. Just make sure that make sure that it's not our people asking the questions, because that would be seen kind of.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
This is a good idea. Okay, so here's my proposal. I can dedicate some time to this weekend for sure. And my suggestion would be if we can self-assign DRIs to each question here, and to write a draft by some period tomorrow that we specify, I can then take it and do a revision tomorrow. Like in some cases, it'll mean that I'll be like significantly editing things. In some cases, I'm sure I'll just be tweaking. But if you can produce a first draft of content, I can come in at some point tomorrow and improve. How does that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Michael, do we have a sense of how long are we looking at pages and pages, or how tight do we want this to be?
I really don't have a great sense. But, I mean, they're going to be reading a lot of these. I don't want. You want to make it as long as you can, like as long as it takes to be impactful, but like not long. So I'm imagining like those meaty questions, like how is it defined its problem, what is the challenge, and what's your approach. Those can be a few paragraphs. Those might be like 3 paragraphs each or something like that. But like, you know,
I would say let's put it open for now, and we can trim down. Let's get the ideas on that. Even it goes like beyond 4 paragraphs or something.
Neil,
we can.
so you were showing that question screen grab.
Yeah.
Did you notice that the text box has some limit or like any instruction like that?
No,
there?
I didn't see that. But let me check.
Wait, which text box?
So he was showing this question on the website itself, where we'll be posting it eventually. So I was wondering, like, if they have like some limit mentioned there as well.
Do you guys know how many people they're gonna select out of 45?
I assume everyone will.
Oh no, for the semi-final. All of these?
I think all 46 of us are semifinalists now.
Oh, and then people gonna vote and stuff.
Oh wait. Yeah, I think that's my sense. It's like
No, I don't
semifinalists starting in 3 days.
participate in refinement. There is applause as well. Comments, views. Oh, there is recently updated, so people already did some of this. So let's see.
If you hop on the refinement page, you'll see the presentation.
I don't know if Rajan mentioned this, but you know Sharad Goel, who's running one of the other crowd research projects, also has a finalist.
Yeah.
It's not on their crowd research project, but it is. It's like
Yeah, we made a joke about it. He wanted to get some work done from demo, right?
So overall, I know 3 people who are into this crowd signals, Sharad's project, and our project, who are participating in the same time.
See, video. We can definitely add a media.
Oh, now I know this project also. This is my friend from UW who is doing this. This is actually Bilthe's project, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is Bilthe's project. A lot of people I know now. Yeah, location India. Bilthis, yes.
Oh, Bill Thies, he works in Microsoft Research in Bangalore.
Yeah. Now I know 4 projects.
There we
This
go.
this video was actually made by a very professional organizer. So it's a very nice video.
We had some artists, I do remember, in our project. One journalist we had.
So do we know
Okay.
the coworker.org?
What about them?
Coworker.org.
Yeah, they have they got like 70% of Starbucks baristas on the platform, like signing petitions. It's a pretty cool platform. Nilofar knows a lot about them.
I'm just going to find who we should be pinging.
Okay. So I can start writing now till whatever time it takes throughout the night. We can do hangout from now, whoever is online. Start
Okay, so
cracking down each question.
so I guess what I would ask is, when you feel like you have a first draft, like I feel like the best use would be for me to come in as soon as you have a draft of each question. And it doesn't have to be you have a draft of every question. It just means somehow mark when you have a draft of it. Maybe highlight the question or something like that. And just be like, here's our rough draft. And then I can come in and go, blah, 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 blah. You've seen me do that. It looks just like that, actually, when I'm editing your papers.
We can announce it on Slack, once as soon as we finish one.
Yeah.
Announce okay, this question is done. All right.
Okay, good. And I don't know exactly what hours I'm going to be free tomorrow, but I will be free, so I can pop in. And if you have, we can do this. I think the question is about the video is just if someone feels like they have time, ability.
Anybody know anybody in Hollywood? I can get Bollywood if you like dance or something like that.
Yes. Can we?
I need to see. Maybe Rajan knows more Bollywood people than me.
All right. Okay. So all right. So let's dive in and just start working on writing. I'm gonna have to pop off soon, but
I can ask. Maybe Carolina knows is a professional.
Yeah.
Graphics person. So
yeah, she might have experience with video editing. We just don't know about.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of getting people to. What we can do is just pull people into this hangout and get them to talk and just be like, hey, I'm Michael. I'm from California and I care about demo because blah.
You have to go to national monument in your state or your country. So if somebody's from India, he has to go to Taj Mahal and make a video.
Yeah. I'll go stand in front of the Stanford, the Hoover Tower.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think Google lets me do this.
Yeah, I think we were experimenting with some of these things.
Oh, I got this.
Yeah.
That's not bad, actually.
I'm Michael. I'm from California. It's a little creepy.
That looks like Miami.
Okay, so I think let's talk more right at this point. I think let's just kick in, and please feel free to ping me. I've written a fair number of grants, so I can help with language stuff. Yeah, do it.
Cool.
For Visual, I think we can probably go non-live.